typing or clicking.
Yeah. I was always wondering how that worked.
Yeah.
Preferences. Give me a moment.
All right. So I'm going to start out by giving an overview of the Blender interface.
Okay.
Now, in the center, we have the 3D view, this here. This allows us to view our 3D scene. And the 3D scene contains 3 objects by default.
Correct.
Which, technically, this cube in the center is the only object. But there's also a camera on the left, and this light, which in Blender is referred to as a lamp.
Right.
For some reason, it says they're called lamps. I don't know why.
It's true.
Each of these elements can be selected by right-clicking.
Right.
It's kind of counterintuitive, but you always right-click on things.
Right.
You can also select objects by left-clicking them in the outliner. And the outliner is this pane in the upper right of the window. So I can click on the cube or the lamp just by clicking on their name. And the outliner is a hierarchical way to organize our scene. And when we have a lot of objects, we can just scroll through and find what you're looking for.
Right.
Now, you can see as I select each element that this multicolored thingy jumps to each element.
Right.
This is known as the 3D manipulator, and it appears at the pivot point or the origin of each object. By left-clicking and dragging on the manipulator, the currently selected object can be translated in 3D space. So what that means is you can click on the white circle to move it freestyle, and I right-click so it jumps back to where it was. Or I can select on these arrows, which are known as axes. You got X, Y, and Z.
Correct.
So that constrains the movement to one axis.
Right.
Now, looking at the header at the bottom of the viewport, we can see an icon that looks like a small version of the 3D manipulator, right here.
Right.
Clicking it turns on and off the manipulator. And there. The buttons next to it are the translate, rotate, and scale buttons. So that's what that looks like. Clicking on rotate allows us to click on any of these lines and rotate the cube. Select the cube. There. Now that's rotating.
Okay.
And then scale, of course, makes it larger or smaller. Woo! Okay. Yes. It can be scaled along a specific axis or uniformly by clicking and dragging on the white circle.
Right.
And then if you make a change you didn't want, you just press Control or Command Z to undo. Right? Basic undo. Or undo is actually hidden under this object menu, and you can get to it from there. Next, I'm going to show you how to navigate around the viewport. To orbit around the scene, click the middle mouse button. And then we can also hold down Shift, and while still holding down the middle mouse button, move the mouse to pan the view. So there we go. Also, Control and middle mouse dollies the view in and out. That's handy there. You can also use the scroll wheel. As you navigate the 3D view, this grid also moves in the view. This is a representation of the ground in 3D space. And in a Cartesian coordinate system, this would be at 0 on Z, and then 1 unit on X, one on Y, and blah blah blah. But if you don't want to see that, you can press N to bring up the properties panel. And click the disclosure triangle next to display, and turn off grid floor. Another thing that we have in the header for the viewport is these rows of squares. And these are the scene layers. The upper left layer has a dot, and it's also dark gray. And this dot means that there's at least one element in that layer. And the darker color means that is the currently active layer. So I can click on the second layer, and now everything disappears because this layer is empty, right?
Correct.
Now, I can go back to this previous layer and press M, making sure that the cube is still selected, and then click on one of these layers or press 2. The cube disappears, and now we can see a dot on layer 2. So there's the cube by itself. Okay, so another way that we can, instead of moving this cube back, I can just press the tilde key, which is the squiggly line.
Squiggly line? Oh, the one at the top.
Yeah, the one at the top. You never know what that's called. It's called the tilde.
Yeah, CL/DR.
And so now we're looking at all the layers at once.
Oh, I have to try that key.
If you want to see just 2 layers, you can select one and then hold down Shift, just like you're selecting multiple objects, and select that second layer. And now that's 2 layers. Alright, so I'll undo. And we are going to look at the tool shelf now. And
Okay.
the tool shelf is on the left of the viewport. It's this right here. You can bring it up or hide it by pressing T.
Yeah. See?
So at the top we have the transform tools. And this is just another way to translate, rotate, scale. You can click on those.
Right.
And mirror I've actually haven't used. I'm not sure if that's new, but
Mirror slides around.
select the mirror axis. I think that's doesn't work in our current mode. So we can look at that later.
Okay.
Now, when we're transforming objects, obviously this is moving it on all 3 axes.
Right.
We can't, if we're not clicking on an axis, we're just clicking the button. How do we do it on just one axis? So the answer to that is that we can press the X, Y, or Z buttons, and that constrains to specific axis.
Okay.
And another thing we can do is, say, I was going to rotate this object, and haven't brought this up yet, but I can. The easiest way is just to press the G, R, and S keys. G, it means grab. Just you grab it and you move it. Then rotate and scale. So I can rotate this cube on, let's make it the y-axis. Okay, so it's now been rotated, and if we want to then scale it on the z-axis, okay, yeah, oh. It scales like that. But the normal way to transform objects is using the global coordinate system, which is the coordinates used by everything. It's these axes right here. But then objects also have their own local coordinate system. You can see global, local, normal, world view. So these are all coordinate systems to transform objects in different ways. And if I were to press the Z key twice, and this is kind of weird. scale. If I press it twice, it's now, if you can see over here, uses the local z-axis, and now it's scaling with respect to that rotation.
Okay.
Let's see where. 1 second. Yep. Okay. There's a third type that is typically used. It's called the normal coordinate system, and
Okay.
it uses the normals of faces. You can think of each face as having this line coming out of the center of it.
Right.
And so you can transform based on the orientation of a specific face.
Okay.
And you can switch to the normal coordinate system by pressing one of these 3 times. But you have to be in something called edit mode, because any of the faces, edges, or vertices.
Right.
Now, looking on the far left of the screen, there are tabs organized into different categories.
Right.
We are currently on the Tools tab, but we want to click on the Create tab. Here, there are all different kinds of elements that can be added to the scene. There are meshes, curves, lamps, and then an other category.
Yeah.
Let's add a UV sphere and a comb.
Okay.
So I'll just move these out and type in some 0 for the X and Y, Z under location here. And
right.
That cone. All right. Looking farther down, there are the coordinates for the 3D cursor. And yes. Under where it says 3D cursor in the properties panel.
Okay.
And this shows where the 3D cursor is in our scene.
Right.
Now, the 3D cursor is the where the objects are created.
Right.
And it does a few other things.
Right.
I can click and drag on the X, Y, and Z fields to move it around. Or I can left click somewhere in the view and it'll appear at that spot. Now I can add an empty by hitting Shift A. This is another way to add objects.
Right.
And just a regular empty. And you can see it's now at the location of that 3D cursor.
Right.
Now that there are a few objects in our scene, let's talk about shading. In the viewport header, click on the viewport shading button.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And this shows this viewport shading menu. Now we're currently looking at the solid drawing mode, but we can also view our objects as wireframes. And even simpler than that, there's bounding box. That's just a basic box around the objects. So this is the fastest and least expensive shading mode. Then we can go to texture. If we had any images applied as textures to our objects, we could view them in textured mode. And then there's material, which is pretty similar, but allows us to view the effects of materials. And rendered is the last one. And this shows the final rendered preview of our objects. Another aspect of shading is smooth normals. Let's select the cone and shift select the sphere. Notice the stepped or faceted appearance of these objects. You can see each individual face, and it looks really not smooth. So there's something we can do about that, and we'll go into the Tools tab, and under Shading, click on Smooth. And that makes our objects now look really nice and smooth. This has to do with the normals, because anytime we talk about shading, the normals are used to calculate how that shading looks.
Right.
Anytime you have a shading issue, it's probably because of an issue with your normals.
Right.
All right. Now, to conclude this introduction of the Blender interface, we need to go over object mode and edit mode right here.
Mm-hmm.
We can switch between these two modes by clicking on the mode button,
Right.
or we can press the tab button.
Mm-hmm.
Now in edit mode, we can manipulate the individual vertices, edges, and faces. Right now it's set to vertex select. If you look at these three buttons with the cube, this is edge select and then face select.
Right.
There are also certain commands and tools that are only available within edit mode. Great. Now you should know the basics of navigating the interface and using objects. So let's move on to actually creating a model. The first thing is to select the objects in our scene. So I'm going to tab back to object mode. I'm going to press A to select all the objects in our scene. Deselect the camera and the lamp. And then press X. It says OK, and then you click delete, and that deleted everything. We're also going to need an image. So you go into the properties panel, and then you're going to see this background images thingy here. You check that, open it up, and then you'll click add image. Then you click on the triangle, click on open, and let's see. I can click on this 4 block button. It gives thumbnails. Yes, that's the one I want. All right, and so what we're going to be doing here is creating. We're going to be tracing out an illuminated letter. So I have one for you here.
Okay.
Just getting this link.
Okay.
All right. you just need to open that and go into class materials week 1, and there will be
how do I grab that? Uh-oh. Let me see. Let me see. Okay. Excuse me. Ah, one. Okay. Got it. Okay. So now it's there. And I guess I would open that up as a background image in display. No. There. And open it. Where am I? Okay. Right. Okay. Run it. Back. Right.
okay. You ready? Or still downloading?
Yeah, I got the image in.
Okay.
So yeah. I had this trouble once actually. I tried to make lightning once and I couldn't see the reference image I was trying to make. So I was using oops. Wrong one. Nope. Shift A. Easier, but not that it matters. But anyway.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so the image has been added, and obviously nothing has happened yet.
Right.
This is because background images do not appear in the user view. So we need to go to the top view, and you can access the top view by going into the view menu or just pressing 7 on your numpad.
Okay.
Okay.
7.
And the reason we're going to the top view instead of the front view is because it won't work otherwise. The last student I had to figure out why her model was being flattened, and when trying to make it 3D, and that's because I told her I forgot and told her to work in the front view, but we'll work in the top view, and then just press the 5 key. This will switch from perspective to orthographic, and there we go. So I had the letter D for David. And now we can start drawing some curves around the outline here.
Right.
So you might, before we do that, you might notice that the object is semi-transparent, and that's because the opacity is set at 0.5.
Oops.
So I usually set it to around 0.7 or so. Just to get it to a little more solid.
That's okay.
You can also offset the image like this.
Whoa. This is gonna be a problem. I'm trying to see.
Or flip it.
Yeah.
Even rotate it, scale it.
Right.
Just leave all those at the defaults right now. Okay. Now we can create objects, add menu, and curve, Bezier. And oh, there's my Bezier curve right by my 3D cursor.
Yep. That's all. Lobby. Oops.
And now we can grab this to where we want to start. Tab into edit mode. And then we can start moving around these points.
Right.
Now there's two different elements that we need to be concerned with. And you can see these 3 points on the red line. So the center point is the vertex. If we move it, see everything moves along with it.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the ends are the tangent handles. And these affect how the curve flows into the point. If we drag it out, that increases the strength, or bring it in, and then rotate. That's the direction.
Right.
We can also rotate the point and scale it, and that scales the handles. So we can do that too. And then we just go along and blah diddy blah. I have one student that just did a simple logo, because this, I try not to get a reference image that is too complex, but this project can take a lot of long menial work. And along the curve, just trace around, And depending on how you like to work, you can just control click.
Oh yeah, control
click to place the points. And then go back later and align them and make them nice.
I'm trying to figure out control click. Wait, I'm supposed to click on something, aren't I?
Yes. One thing, make sure you've got the last point selected, because I'm just going to show you here. If you have like another point selected, it just creates a new segment.
Right.
And yeah, my last student kept doing that, and it was a mess. Okay, and one other thing I can show you. If you find that you need to add some more detail in an area that you've already created a curve, you can select the points on either side, press W. This brings up the Specials menu, and then click Subdivide. Okay.
Okay, wise. Tab. Oops. I did something wrong. Let's see.
Let me know when you've gotten all the way around your letter.
Okay, still working on that. Okay. Turn the handles to about there. There are two handles. Should I share my screen?
Yeah, you can share your screen.
Okay.
And then
It's kind of hard because I'm trying to do two things at once. I'm trying to multitask, but the Hangouts video looks kind of bad. So.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'll mention that at the end. Okay. Screen?
Yeah. Okay.
There. All right. So I'll full screen that, and I'll zoom out and see. So to grab the handles, tab. See here.
Okay.
So I'm trying to figure out which handle I select. Well, I'll grab it. Wait.
Okay. You've got one of the handles right now, because when you select a handle, only that point is highlighted.
Right. I grab this one. Control click. No. Was it control right click? Ah. Okay. I think I solved my problem.
Okay.
I kind of have it a little backwards. So.
When you have the center point selected, all three points will be highlighted.
And B, box select mode. That's one. And there. Zoom. It's the hard part as well. Lining up this curb and grabbing it to, oops, trying to make it a little easier. Uh-oh. This is acting a little wonky. Tab. It's a little annoying. I remove these little handles right here just so I can figure out which is the mesh and which, or the bezier, or which is not. Because with this over here is not the bezier. This is just the handle. So, can I move this?
Move the handle?
Yeah, so like right here, it cuts off right about right here.
Oh,
And then
yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Your handle is sticking way out, but the black line is the actual curve.
Right.
So
I could.
You can move the point, the black dot in the center where the line ends. You just right click that and then press G and move it to the corner. That's it.
Grab. Oops. And then. That's how. Move right there. Okay. Now I can just click. Do this right? Yeah, I'm doing this. Whoa, that's way out there. Now I'll fix that in a minute. So. It's kind of blurry. I'll zoom out. Actually, let's save some. Is it control drag? Oh. Lovely. Shift and then zoom. Click. Oops, not right. It's right click because actually I. Oh. That was what was happening.
Okay, you're doing good.
Close. Yeah. Control click. Right there.
And you don't need that many points. Just not for a straight line.
So swing there. And shift drag. Yeah, remember that. I can fix that in a minute. Shift drag. I think it's right about here where I probably have to. Shift drag. Shift drag, and oops, shift back, control. Sort of reminds me of. Oops, shift drag. Okay, that was all right. Okay. Drag. Okay. And, okay. Let's see.
Okay, looks like you're all the way around the edge.
Almost. Well, close, but I think I skipped some
Oh,
parts.
okay. Yeah, yeah, it looks like you're there.
Okay, there is a way to grab these. No control.
Yeah, and then just
Hmm. Am I supposed to drag it? No.
yeah, drag it in. Actually, you can right click on the vertex. That's the center point there.
Yeah. Let me see.
There's actually.
Oh.
It's going to show you this, but just yeah. Tab again. Okay. Right click on the dot in the corner.
So it's selected?
Yeah. Right click on the point itself.
Okay.
Yeah. Just select the point, not the handle.
Oh, the point. Ooh.
Yeah. Okay. Now press the V key. And this is the handle type. Toggle free align or free.
That one?
Yeah.
Right. Or free.
Now this is what is sometimes referred to as breaking the tangents. So now instead of the handles being locked together, you can now move them independently. Right. And this is great for corners and things.
Right. A little area in there. Actually, that went away, actually. I know how I'm going to do that. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Let me see. Drag. That's how to drag. Ah. Now I see. It's a lot. Moves freer. Oops. Actually, maybe do that there. Yeah, that looks good. Except maybe I'll rotate. I'll rotate this. This. A little curve right there.
Yeah, watch those tangent handles because sometimes they can be too long and they can overlap. You don't want that.
Oh. Like that. Okay.
See what I mean by overlapping?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. It's not perfect, but it's not terrible. If I see really closely, kind of missed the little spot. these are just small details, but okay. Oh, I also gotta fix that. That one went a little too sharp. That was unnecessary. Ooh, yeah. Gotta fix that. Oops. Ah, that happens. I remember the shift, hold down the middle mouse, because if I don't, the image disappears. So I have to go back to 7.
Right.
Oops. Tab. Grab. And making sure it doesn't act all wonky on me. I'll do that. Still too sharp. Ooh, this really wants to act crazy. Wait a minute. Can I select both at the same time? Yes. Aha. So it doesn't move all freely like it wants to. This is a small little problem, but now I just want this one, so I'm going to grab. This handle really wants to act wonky.
Yeah, it's right next to that point.
Right.
I think what you want to do is actually move the point itself, not the handles.
Yeah, this one. So grab it. Drag it a little more this way. Yeah, this one makes it more sharper. But I want to be sharp, not as. Still too close. I think what I should have done is I should have done a little more shift clicking. Well, that's not bad. It's not bad. And these improvements. I can do this. Yeah. And this is a little too smooth, so not just that point. I see it goes up a little more, so. I can do it. Still a little too sharp. I want to be a little bit more like that. Perfect. I want to be sharper, and that's not too close. Here. Here. Oh. Right. And now. Oh, and then I got this one right here.
Yep.
Okay. I see the problem. This one's. Where are the handles? Wow. What's that? I want just that one. I want to grab it and move it down without it acting all wonky.
And if you're having to move the handles in really far, that may be when you want to toggle the handle type, make the handles free.
Okay, like this one right here.
Yeah,
like,
in this kind of case where you have that corner.
Free. There we go. Yeah. Now it looks a little more better. Yeah.
And if you have a lot of points in one little area, it can also
That's good.
take more work to make it look smooth, and it can look kind of janky and have weird bumps.
Right. Except I want this point a little more outward, like that. Fix that. And that one's very jaggedy. Whoa, and then I got this last line down here.